Council Tavares and Council Waterman. I am actually canceling the meeting for tonight. Made a couple things change, and we'll be back at it next week for our committee meetings. All right. I guess a call for adjournment. Second. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. We're adjourned at 6:47.
Just give me one quick second, please.
What's up?
Do you have committee meeting too?
What's that?
You have committee too?
Yep, right now. I'd like to call Public Works to order at 6:48. I just have one motion tonight, because I neglected to vote it out last week for some reason. Anyway, from the docket of May 20th, 2025, I entertain a motion to appropriate $6,893.42 from Fund 3343599000 Globe Street, other financing uses, to Fund 242549900, DRIS, ARPA, other financing sources to address the water service line on Lindsay Street.
Second.
Thank you. So again, like I said, that was completely my error, not voting this out last week. So I guess this cost us a little extra money. Apparently finding water mains isn't as easy as we would think it would be. So because someone mislabeled and it required extra work. So that's the reason for the extra money. Does anybody have any questions?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Sorry. Motion, that's all right. Motion passes. And I'd like to call for an adjournment at 6:49.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
So here's the good news.
How are we doing?
Good, everything okay?
Howdy, howdy. Nice.
You good?
Oh, yeah. Living that said proverbial dream. I'd like to call this meeting of Municipal Council to order at 6:50. Please rise and join me for a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Hope everyone is doing well on this fine Tuesday evening. Okay. Let's see. So, Madam Clerk, I would ask you to read the notice of the first public hearing, please.
I'd be happy to. Public hearings for May 20th, 2025. Public hearing to amend Section 6-4.3 of the revised ordinances as follows. Strike Section 6-4.3 in its entirety and replace with, effective July 1st, 2025, the following ambulance service charges shall apply. BLS emergency rate, $1,770.78. ALS 1 emergency rate, $2,536.88. ALS 2 emergency rate, $2,492.35. Specialty care transport, SCT, $4,175.46. BLS non-emergency base, $1,765.42. ALS 1 non-emergency base rate, $2,492.35. Mileage, loaded mile, $36.60. Beginning on January 1st, 2027, and each January 1st thereafter, all such ambulance service charges shall be automatically increased on January 1st of each year by a percentage equal to the percentage increase of the most recent ambulance fee schedule approved by Medicare for Attleboro. If there is no increase in such period, the city's ambulance service charges fees shall remain unchanged. The fire department shall maintain a list of current charges as updated.
Thank you. Do we have anyone speak in favor? Anyone to speak in favor? Do we have anyone to speak against? Do we have anyone to speak neither for nor against? Okay. Council Holmes, is this in your committee?
I don't think so. I think, is it an ordinance?
Is it? Todd, is this yours? Trying to see.
Sorry,
Nope, no worries. Council Clubs, do you see any reason to keep this public
I
hearing
do
open?
not.
Okay, thank you. I declare that public hearing closed. Yeah, Madam Clerk, if you could read the second public hearing.
Second public hearing regarding the proposed amendment to the classification plan as follows. To add the position of licensed independent clinical social worker, LICSW, in the SATS 3 position group.
Okay, thank you. Do we have anyone to speak in favor?
Good evening, Lynn Davin, Human Resources Director. So as you know, we did have a social worker here previously under the opioid settlement funds. Unfortunately, she moved on to another position, and we're very sad to see her go. But we learned a lot in the time that she was here. So initially, when we put this position in, we put it as a licensed social worker, LSW. Didn't mean really much to us at the time, but as we learned, the LSW and the LICSW have different things that they can do, and one of them is a clinical evaluation. So the social worker is under the HR department as well as under the police department, and they are stationed a few days a week at the library and 2 days a week with the POP team, the problem-oriented policing team. So it does make a difference to have the LICSW. The police department really found that that was helpful for them because they could do the clinical evaluation without having to call someone else. So if they're just an LSW, they have to call someone who is an LICSW to make that assessment. So it kind of took that out of it. The LICSW also has, a higher education requirement, more years in service, and we just found that that would be more beneficial to the city to have that actual experience to be able to assess the needs of our residents. Excuse me. The social work at the library has really been beneficial. I think people feel comfortable going to the library, and she serviced quite a few people there. She kept spreadsheets. She kind of taught us what it was like to be a social worker in a municipal setting, and we have learned a lot, and I think our residents have greatly benefited from it. Luckily, she did leave us with some resource guide on the way out, so we've been able to try to help, but the need is definitely there because my office gets a lot of calls, and I think around the city we get a lot of calls about people in need of resources, housing, pretty much everything, and we do have, we're not Kate, so we can't do what she does, but at least she gave us the roadmap to kind of get us there. But I think, we initially did go out for a licensed social worker, and we did some interviews, myself and Amy Erlinger from the library and Sergeant Brilliant from the POP team. And I think when we were talking about it and kind of looking at the pool that we had, we just felt like we really needed that LICSW, that extra licensing to give everyone that clinical evaluation was really helpful for us. So we'd really like to amend it. I don't know what the future holds. We'd like to hold on to that LSW position in the class plan. If it's going to be unfunded right now, but to give us the opportunity, if later on we do have funds for that, maybe that's something we can add along the line. It can be a good path for succession planning, because a lot of times the LSW has to work under the LICSW to get those hours in. So I think if we leave it there, it could give us a path in the future. I don't know what the future holds, but I think it will just, if we unfund it for now and, fund the LICSW, add the LICSW and fund it, it would be very helpful.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any questions? Councilor Fuller.
Thank you. Can you tell us how much more it costs to get an LICSW than an LSW?
I didn't bring the one for the LSW. So the LICSW, the range is 75 to 101. That's the range. So, we have these pay bands that we did in the classification and compensation plan to give us some flexibility depending on experience to bring people in at different levels. It's opioid settlement money that we're using for that right now. I know, it's not going to last forever, but for right now, that's kind of where we're at. We, did kind of ask around and asked our former social worker if we were in a good range, and she felt like we were. I mean, she got her dream job, so in the private sector. We can't compete with that, but she did feel like we were in a good range for someone of that nature.
Got additional, Council Waterman.
Well, I am applauding you as an LSW in my history. What are the particular special requirements and duties when she's working with the police here?
I don't want to speak for PD. They are here and they can speak for themselves, but
Okay.
I think that they do some clinical evaluations in order for sectioning. I think that is where a lot of it comes in, but Sergeant Brilliant from the POP team is here, and I don't want to put words in his mouth because I don't work with them every day, but I think that was one of the points, but he can certainly speak to that.
Sure.
Additional questions, Mr. Angelo.
Thank you, President Delcio. Hi, thanks for coming down. I think it's definitely the right path with everything that's going on with all the mental health issues and everything. And hopefully the focus will be more on the experience and less on the education. I mean, I know they kind of come hand in hand, but at the same time, I certainly put a lot more weight towards the experience than anything. So hopefully,
Yeah, I definitely hear you on that, but the LICSW definitely has to have that more experience in order to get
Yeah.
to that license and to sit for it, and you have to have some supervisory experience as well. I'm not an expert in it, but just from my research and from talking to the previous social worker, so there is a little bit more there. We always value the experience. Like, if we didn't, Kate came in with a lot of experience, and we were fortunate to have her because if we wouldn't, I don't think we would know what we know now without her guidance. Like, she really, when we interviewed, we were like, look, this is a brand new position. Like, you need to help us form it. She initially came in under the health department. We thought that was the right fit. And then we quickly found out, not really. Like, that wasn't really where she was needed. And then the library became a really good fit. They get a lot of foot traffic in there. Some people don't want to be seen at City Hall for those type of services because they may know people that work here or coming through here. The library was a much better fit for that. And being with the POP team seemed to really, enhance what they're doing as well.
thank you.
If there's no other questions, Lynn, thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to see you as always. Do we have anyone else to speak in favor?
Evening.
Evening.
Chief Hegney, Attleboro Police Department. I stand before this honorable body in support of this ask. I think it's important. I think it would enhance our mission. And if we did not change this compensation plan, I think it would hamper the good and the objectives that we achieved at this point. So I think we'd be going backwards if we did not. And Sergeant Billon's the POP team commander. He can speak to as the operational need to have this person classified in this manner.
My name's Tom Brillon. I'm a sergeant with the Attleboro Police Department. My current assignment is as the officer in charge of the problem-oriented policing unit. I've been in that role for just over 2 years now. Why this is important, the independent licensure, right? So you don't require that supervision. So when we respond in the community, this person can triage needs, address problems, and overall it kind of reduces the length of time which somebody could be in a state of crisis or need help, reduces the draw on police, fire, other local services, and it gets the person healthy as fast as possible, which is the overall goal, whether it's mental health, substance abuse. It's really something that is important to us, and we kind of didn't know how important it was until we had it, and then we lost it, so we certainly know now what we're missing.
Great. Mr. Lavoy.
Thank you, President Delcio. Is this, or would this position ever have a on-call factor to it? Like if you guys had something going on at 1 a.m., you could potentially reach out?
That depends on the circumstances, depends on the incident, depending on where it is, the urgent need. We do have services on call, should we need it. The social worker is embedded in the POP team on those certain days. They go out with the POP team, they can respond. In a time of crisis, we do contract with the CCBC for those matters and also the Department of Mental Health. So to answer your question, it's a maybe.
Additional questions? Okay. Sergeant, good to see you.
Thank you.
Chief, thank you for coming down.
Chief.
Do we have anyone else to speak in favor?
Hi, Amy Rillinger, Library Director, also in favor of the licensed independent social worker. Like Lynn said, that we didn't realize how important that independence was until Kate got here. Speaking from the library role, watching Kate be the solo social worker for the city, like, you want somebody with the experience of that independent licensure because they are by themselves. I can tell them library experience, the police can tell them police experience, but the social work experience, they need that. I did do some interviews with Lynn, and the trying to picture folks who are newly out of school doing what this person does that nobody else has done before, or Kate did for 9 months. You really want as much education, as much experience behind that. And also remembering that the social worker is in the library building for 2.5 days a week, and we are open 59 hours a week, so that person is doing an awful lot of mentoring and modeling behavior for library staff. Since Kate left, the Ascension House has opened, and so that has increased our walk-in traffic quite a bit, people with a lot of needs that we are meeting the best that we can, winging it, as we are really great at, but to have somebody with some experience to give us real training is crucial.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay. Amy, thank you. It's
Yep.
always nice to see you.
Thank you.
Do we have anyone else to speak in favor? Do we have anyone to speak against? Do we have anyone to speak neither for nor against? Seeing none, Mr. Angelo, do you see any reason to keep this public hearing open?
No, President Lucio, I do not.
Thank you, sir. I declare that public hearing closed. And Madam Clerk, if you can go on to a reading of the third and final public hearing, please.
Final public hearing regarding the proposed amendment to the revised ordinances as follows. Strike section 2-1.3 in its entirety and replace with 2-1.3 Special Assistant to the Mayor. There is hereby established within the Mayor's Department the position of a Special Assistant to the Mayor. The Mayor shall appoint the Special Assistant to the Mayor for a term of 3 years, subject to confirmation by the Municipal Council. The Special Assistant to the Mayor shall receive such salary as the Mayor and the Municipal Council shall from time to time determine. The Special Assistant to the Mayor shall possess at least a bachelor's degree in public or business administration or management, or alternatively in urban planning, political science, or a similarly related field, and shall be particularly fitted by education, training, and experience to perform the duties of the office. The Special Assistant to the Mayor, under the supervision and control of the Mayor, shall assist the Mayor as follows. A. Liaison with state, federal, and other municipal officials concerning city business and represent the office of the Mayor at meetings and other functions with municipal, state, and federal officials as needed. B. Conferring with department heads and other officials in assembly data requested by the Mayor and assisting as needed in analyzing, coordinating, and distributing such data. C. Liaison with the municipal council and volunteer city boards and commissions. D. Responding to residents' requests, concerns, and complaints. E. Drafting city policies and goals and coordinating special projects. F. Seeking grant opportunities and preparing grant applications and supporting documentation and conducting research, compiling data, and preparing detailed reports, spreadsheets, and other materials in various projects and initiatives. G. Drafting press releases and other media-related communications from the office of the Mayor. H. Supervising the Mayor's office staff. And I. Performing such other tasks as may be assigned from time to time.
Thank you. Do we have anyone to speak in favor? Do we have anyone to speak against? Do we have anyone to speak neither for nor against? Seeing none, Councilor Cobus, do you see any reason to keep this public hearing open?
I do not.
I declare that public hearing closed. We will now go into, I would entertain a motion to enter in committee of the whole.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? We are now operating in under committee of the whole. If anyone has any business they wish to bring in front of the council, I would entertain a motion to arise from committee of the whole.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We have now risen from committee of the whole. We will now go into a reading of the mayor's communication.
May 20th, 2025. Dear Municipal Council, As you will recall, last year we received the Mass DEP Technical Assistant Grant, which provided 80 hours of hands-on assistance with drafting a request for proposals, evaluating bids, and interviewing selected proposers for our next solid waste contract. Although solid waste and recycling contracts are exempt from state procurement laws' requirements for competitive bidding, we chose to engage in a competitive bidding process to better ensure a comprehensive, transparent, collaborative process and the best possible outcome for ratepayers. We also created a committee to assist in the process, which took several months from start to finish. Despite decreasing landfill space and an unforeseen and not unsubstantial increased prevailing wage requirements, we are working with the selected proposer to finalize a 5-year solid waste contract that provides some additional and new services with a relatively minimal increase in costs to the ratepayer. Although we are still finalizing the terms of the contract, I would like to publicly acknowledge the great work of those committee members who shared their time and expertise in this effort. Many thanks to Solid Waste Manager Cheryl Perry, City Auditor Deb Gould, Director of Budget and Administration Lord Mason, Purchasing Assistant Carol Brown, Counselor Sarah Lynn Reynolds, City Resident Deb Revelle and Missy Hollenbach, about our Mass DEP Municipal Assistant Coordinator. I am also grateful to City Solicitor Peter Mello, who reviewed the contract and assisted with contract negotiations.
Thank you, that's an FYI.
I respectfully submit a communication from Chief of Police Kyle P. Hegney regarding the anticipated receipt of Public Safety Answering Point Support and Initiative grant of approximately $165,733 for fiscal year 26 from the Executive Office of Public Safety and Security, EOPS, State 911 Department. No match is required by the city. In accordance with Chapter 1, Section 12 of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro, I hereby request your honorable body to approve the expenditures of such funds by the Attleboro Police Department as specified within the perimeters of the grant and also approve any future grant amendments.
Public Safety and Emergency Management, please.
I respectfully request your honorable body transfer $45,000 from account Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to the Citywide Streetlights account in order to pay invoices for the remainder of fiscal year 25. In order to be able to process this request for the end of fiscal year 2025 deadline, I hereby request your honorable body to consider this prior to June 30th, 2025.
Finance Committee, please.
I respectfully submit for confirmation by your honorable body the appointment of Joseph Parent to fill an expired term on the Board of Fire Commissioners, term to expire February 2028.
Personnel, Veterans, Human Services Committee, please.
I respectfully submit for confirmation by your honorable body the appointment of Frank Cook to fill an unexpired term on the Board of Fire Commissioners, term to expire February 2026.
Personnel, Veterans, Human Services Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Director of Budget Administration, Mason Lord, regarding funding for the Balfour Riverwalk bridge repairs. The city conducted a competitive request for bids process for the repair and restoration of the Balfour Riverwalk footbridge, situated at Riverbank Road in the 10-Mile River. In the first bid process in October of 2023, the city only received one bid for $244,000. At the time, we did not feel this was an appropriate price for the proposed scope of work. We recently completed a second competitive bid process, with the city receiving 3 competitive bids. The low bid was $99,000 from CJR Atlantic Inc. A 15% contingency has been added in the request for funds. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body transfer $113,850 from the Citywide Reserve Fund for Capital account to the Citywide Transfer to Capital account, and to further transfer $113,850 to Fund 35784999600 Balfour Bridge, transfer from General Fund. In order to be able to process this request for the end of fiscal year 2025 deadline, I hereby request your honorable body to consider this prior to June 30th, 2025.
Finance Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Superintendent of Park and Forestry Derek Corsi regarding the donation of 8 McCoy Stadium seats from the City of Pawtucket with an estimated value of $100 per seat. These seats will be used to construct benches that will be displayed at various parks in the city as a great way for the community to remember McCoy Stadium and the Pawtucket Red Sox. I would like to thank Pawtucket Mayor Don Grebben and his staff for their help coordinating this donation. In order with Section 1-12, in accordance with Section 1-12 of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro, I hereby request your honorable body accept these generous donations to the city.
City Property and Claims, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Superintendent of Wastewater Thomas Hayes regarding the needs for funds to pay previous year bills from National Grid. The original electric charges paid were based on estimated electrical meter readings. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body appropriate $11,183 from the Wastewater Enterprise Fund retained earnings account to the Wastewater Enterprise Fund bills from previous year's accounts. In order to be able to process this request for the end of fiscal year 2025 deadline, I hereby request your honorable body to consider this prior to June 30th, 2025.
Public Works Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Economic Director Christopher McDermott regarding the need for authorization for a proposed tax increment exemption, TIE agreement, as required under Massachusetts Housing Development Incentive Program, HDIP, for 41 South Main Street, LLC, Paragon Investments, LLC. The City of Attleboro's Economic Development Incentive Board voted in support of the TIE on May 8, 2025. Therefore, pursuant to Mass General Laws 40V, Section 4B1, and Mass General Laws 59, Section 5M, I hereby request your honorable body approve the following resolution authorizing me to execute a TIE agreement between the city and 41 South Main Street, LLC, Paragon Investments, LLC. Additionally, in order for the developer to be able to submit their application to the Executive House of Housing and Livable Communities, EOHLC, I respectfully request your honorable body to vote on this matter prior to August 14, 2025. Attleboro Municipal Council resolution authorizing the tax increment exemption agreement for 41 South Main Street LLC. Whereas 41 South Main Street LLC, the owner of the building located at 2739 South Main Street, partial 031249000 in the city of Attleboro, is proposing to construct a new market rate multifamily residential building at the former Sun Chronicle parking lot at 41 South Main Street. The total investment at this location, including site preparation and construction, will be approximately $12,000. $12 million, excuse me. That was pretty
You're
funny.
excused, there's been a lot of reading.
Whereas 41 South Main Street LLC is seeking to become a certified project in accordance with the Massachusetts Housing Development Incentive Program and is seeking a tax increment exemption agreement from the City of Attleboro in accordance with the Massachusetts Housing Development Incentive Program and Mass General Laws, Chapter 40V. And whereas the City of Attleboro strongly supports increased economic development within its downtown, increasing the market rate housing inventory within the city, and expanding the consumer base for downtown businesses. And whereas the proposed project meets location eligibility criteria set forth in the downtown Attleboro Housing Development Zone and Plan. And whereas the Economic Development Incentive Board has negotiated an agreement voting to approve a tax increment exemption agreement structure for 41 South Main Street LLC and now recommends authorization of said agreement and vote by the Municipal Council of the City of Attleboro.
Finance Committee, please.
Thank you. I respectfully submit for confirmation by your honorable body the appointment of Amanda Soldenaya to fill an unexpired term on the planning board, term to expire February 2026.
Personnel, Veterans, Human Services Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Director of Budget Administration Mason Lord regarding the need for funds to purchase a police cruiser. The annual general government operating budget in fiscal year 25 included funding for purchase of 3 new police cruisers. As part of the fiscal year 26 police department budget requests, funding for 4 cruisers was requested. Due to funding constraints for the initial fiscal year 26 proposed budget, we were unable to include enough funds for the 4th vehicle in fiscal year 26. However, we have identified available funds in the reserve fund for capital that could be used towards the purchase of 1 additional cruiser before fiscal year 25 ends on June 30th. The cost for purchase and equipping a new police cruiser is approximately $79,000. Chief Hegney has identified approximately $21,000 available in his fiscal year 25 police cruiser budget. To make use of these funds towards a cruiser order purchase before June 30th, an additional $58,000 is needed. We have funds available in the citywide reserve fund for capital to close the gap between the actual costs and available budget. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body transfer $58,000 from the citywide reserve fund for capital account to the police vehicle and equipment replacement account. In order to be able to process this request for the end of fiscal year 2025 deadline, I hereby request your honorable body to consider this prior to June 30th, 2025.
Finance Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Director of Recreation Christy Clausen regarding the need for funds to rebuild the pickleball courts at Nickerson Park. The pickleball courts are in need of some improvements to keep up with the current and anticipated popularity of the sport with local residents. The city conducted a competitive request for bids, and 3 qualifying bids were received. The low bid was $195,975 from Hinding Tennis. A 10% contingency is included in the overall project budget, and 5% of the total project cost, $10,778, will be fundraised by the pickleball community. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body approve the following transfers.
Public Works Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from APS Director of Finance, Mark Furtado, requesting permission to utilize up to $495,000 of the school department's appropriated fiscal year 25 net school spending budget towards projects that may be not net school spending eligible. Therefore, I respectfully request authorization for the school department to obligate up to $495,000 of its fiscal year 25 net school spending appropriation towards potentially non-net school spending eligible expenditures. In order to be able to process this request for the end of fiscal year 2025 deadline, I hereby request your honorable body to consider this prior to June 30th, 2025.
Todd, just because you don't have enough, I'm going to give this to Finance, okay? You're going to be,
Perfect, thank you.
yeah, something to do over the next
Appreciate it.
month.
I respectfully submit a communication from Fire Chief Scott T. LaChance regarding the need to update the fire alarm consoles. The proposed project includes replacing the 2 fire alarm consoles at the South Attleboro Dispatch Center, enabling retransmission of alarms at headquarters and Briggs Corner Station, and training staff in the operation of the new system. The approximate cost of this capital project is $120,000. The total required funding for this project is approximately $132,000 with a 10% contingency. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body appropriate $132,000 from the undesignated fund balance free cash general government account to fund 3582, the fire alarm console upgrade account. In order to be able to process this request for the end of fiscal year 2025 deadline, I hereby request your honorable body to consider this prior to June 30th, 2025.
Finance, just kidding, Public Safety and Emergency Management.
Sincerely, Kathleen D. Simone, Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Nice job on the large communication. We would now go into a reading of the clerk's communication.
Clerk's communication, May 20th, 2025. We have received the certificate of vote from the planning board meeting held on Monday, May 19th, 2025. Voted unanimously in favor to petition the Honorable Municipal Council to call for a joint public hearing with the planning board to amend the zoning ordinance, specifically section 17-3.5, table of accessory use regulations, section 17-4.5.2, accessory dwelling units, general standards, and section 17-11.2, definitions of the zoning ordinance by adopting the following language relative to detached accessory dwelling units, and you all have a copy in your packets.
Thank you. Zoning, Land Use, and Sustainability, and Councilor Sawyer, would you like to call for a public hearing on June 17th?
Yes, I would.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
That concludes all the communications for this evening.
All right, we will now go into committee reports, starting as always with Mr. Kobus.
Thank you. Reporting to the Finance Committee from the docket of May 20th, 2025, I move to approve the following transfers. Transfer $11,495 from account Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account Citywide Other Financial Uses, and further transfer $11,495 to account Citywide Other Financial Sources, and further transfer $11,495 to Citywide Special Event Professional Services to fund this special event.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any comments?
We talked about this fairly extensively last week during committee. This is to transfer $11,500, or roughly $11,500 over to the fireworks fund, just to fund the special event, but with the understanding that any money raised will be spent first before this money is spent, and this just covers what we have as a difference right now to cover the details and whatnot.
Thank you. Additional questions, comments, concerns? I just want to thank, again, the work that the Fireworks Committee is doing. I know Virginia and Christy Clausen from the city, a bunch of volunteers. There's a lot of buzz around this event right now, and I know the volunteer group's working really hard, so it's great to see this coming back to fruition. That being said, this will be a roll call vote, beginning with Mr. Kobus.
Mr. Kobus?
Yes.
Ms. Foa?
Yes.
Mr. Lavoy?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Vice President Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you, motion passes.
And from the docket of May 20th, 2025, I entertain a motion to approve the following transfers for the 53rd week in fiscal year '25.
We will waive the reading where you read them into the record last week. Seconded by Vice President Dolan. Motion's in order. Any comments?
We do this every year, 53rd week.
Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, this will be a roll call vote, beginning with Mr. Tavares.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Vice President Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Lavoy?
Yes.
Ms. Foa?
Yes.
Mr. Kobus?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
And that concludes the business for the Finance Committee. I call for committee meeting at the next appropriate time, which is Thursday, so that we can start our budget discussions.
And starting time of that meeting?
7 PM.
Thank you, sir.
The IT and Infrastructure Committee has no business this evening, and I call for a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. Councilor Lavoy.
Thank you, President Delicio. Reporting for the License Committee from the docket of May 6, 2025. I move to approve a new underground storage license application from Sturdy Health at 211 Park Street for a 30,000-gallon diesel fuel Class 2 combustible liquid tank located at 219 Park Street.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any comments?
I believe most councilors were here for the presentation from Sturdy. They have multiple of these tanks already on property, so this is not anything essentially that's new for the property. It's just a larger tank than the other ones on the property.
Additional questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, this is a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. From the docket of March 18th, 2025, I move to approve the new Class 2 auto license from DX2 Group LLC, doing business as Wranglers Plus at 1856 County Street for 4 customer parking spaces and 20 display spaces.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any comments?
No, I believe we talked about it in committee.
Additional questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, this is a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. That concludes the business for the License Committee, and I would call for a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. Councilor Reynolds.
Thank you. Reporting for City Property and Claims Committee, I have several motions on the docket this evening. So from the docket of May 20th, 2025, I move to transfer $3,500 from citywide reserve fund for transfer to Council on Aging, maintenance of buildings.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any comments?
I have none.
Okay. Additional questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, this will be a roll call vote, beginning with Councilor Kobus.
Mr. Kobus?
Yes.
Ms. Foa?
Yes.
Mr. Lavoy?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Vice President Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
From the docket of May 20th, 2025, I move to accept the donation of 18 brand-new golf baskets, 28 brand-new disc gold tee pads, and 20 used disc golf baskets to the Parks and Forestry Department from Jewelry City Disc Golf.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any comments?
I have none.
Additional questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, this will be a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
From the docket of May 20th, 2025, I move to accept the donation of a Speed Queen front-load washer and 2 stainless steel fill hoses to the City of Attleboro Animal Shelter from Janine Bocheman of 20 Howarth Ave, South Attleboro.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any comments?
Just to say thank you. You know, it's always great when somebody donates to the animal shelter.
Very good. Thank you. Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, this too is a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
From the docket of May 20th, 2025, I move to declare the obsolete school department books as surplus and available for disposition.
Second.
We'll waive the reading where you read it last week in the committee, seconded by Vice President Dolan. Any comments?
I have none.
Additional questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, this will be a voice vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
That is all the business City Property and Claims Committee has this evening, but I would like to call for a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
You got it.
Thank you.
All right. Vice President Dolan.
Thank you. Reporting for the Public Works Committee from the docket of May 20th, 2025. I move to transfer $6,946.40 from account Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account Public Works Maintenance, Maintenance Traffic Light for a damaged traffic signal on the corner of Pleasant Street and Emery Street.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any comments?
No, we discussed in committee.
Thank you. Additional questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, this will be a roll call vote, beginning with Councilor Tavares.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Vice President Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Lavoy?
Yes.
Ms. Foa?
Yes.
Mr. Cobus?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
From the docket of May 20th, 2025, I move to approve the following transfer of $22,000 from account Park salary to the following $1,500.
Second.
You can waive it if you want.
Second.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you. Any comments?
No, we discussed in committee.
Additional questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, this will be a roll call vote, beginning with Mr. Cobus.
Mr. Cobus?
Yes.
Ms. Foa?
Yes.
Mr. Lavoy?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Vice President Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
11 nays, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
From the docket of May 20th, 2025, I move to appropriate $6,893.42 from Fund Globe Street Other Financing Uses to Fund BRIS ARPA Other Financing Sources to address a water service line on Lindsay Street.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any comments?
Nope, we just discussed in committee tonight.
Thank you very much. Additional questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, this will be a roll call vote, beginning with Mr. Tavares.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Vice President Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Lavoy?
Yes.
Ms. Foa?
Yes.
Mr. Cobus?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
From the docket of December 17th, 2024, I move to strike the following. A motion to create an additional curbside handicap parking space in the Union Street and Dunham Street area.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any comments?
Just quickly, we were able to get, thanks to Gary Arazian, we were looking for a handicap space on the street, but Gary was able to talk to the owner, and he was happy to put one in the parking lot that they already have, so, and they did it very quickly, so I'm very grateful.
Great work by Gary, as always. Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, this is a voice vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
And that's all the business for the Public Works Committee, and I'd like to call for a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. Before I recognize Council Holmes, Vice President Dolan, I just want to recognize a great meeting you held last week, having Mike Tyler here talking about the light at Rathbun Well, and I know you've been doing a lot of work over this over the years. I think it was a great conversation. Feedback that I've received from many residents over the course of the last week was they're very grateful to know what's going on, and trust that we'll hopefully see some improvement, but kudos.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Council Holmes.
Thank you. Reporting from Public Safety and Emergency Management Committee, I have two motions this evening. From the docket of May 20th, 2025, I move to appropriate $126,364.03 from account undesignated fund balance, free cash general government, to account fire earned time payment.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any comments?
We discussed in committee, somebody had provided over 30 years of service working for this, for the fire department, so.
Additional questions, comments, concerns? Well, we thank that individual for their service to the city. Wish him a happy and healthy retirement. This will be a roll call vote, beginning with Councilor Cobus.
Mr. Cobus?
Yes.
Ms. Foa?
Yes.
Mr. Lavoy?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Vice President Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
From the docket of May 20th, 2025, I move to transfer $11,808.41 from account Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account Police Maintenance of Radios.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any comments?
Just briefly, remember, this is just a Band-Aid to help with the radio system, but eventually the whole system is most likely going to need to be replaced. That concludes my comments.
Thank you. I share the sentiment of the importance of this. Yeah, the technology becomes obsolete pretty quick, and if they can't radio for help, puts them certainly in a treacherous situation. So thank you for expediting this. Additional questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, this will be a roll call vote, beginning with Mr. Tavares.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer? Yes. Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Vice President Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Lavoy?
Yes.
Ms. Foa?
Yes.
Mr. Cobus?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
That concludes the business, and we'll call for a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. Councilor Angelo.
Thank you, President Delicio, reporting for Personnel Veterans Human Service Committee. From the docket of May 20th, 2025, we move to approve the memorandum of agreement between the City of Attleboro and the Leona Public Employees Local Union, 1144 Laborers Unit, DPW.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any comments?
We discussed it in committee, and it's a contractual agreement, and it's good to get this done.
Okay. Additional questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, this will be a voice vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
From the docket of May 20th, 2025, move to approve the appointment of Spencer Lins to fill an expired term on the Board of Recreation Commission's term to expire February 2028.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any comments?
No, sir. We had Spencer in a little while ago, and happy to have him on the Board of Recreation.
Very good. Additional questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, this too is a voice vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
That's all for Personnel Veterans Human Services Committee. Call for meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you very much. Councilor Sawyer.
The Zoning, Land Use, and Sustainability Committee does not have any business tonight, and I look forward to the next committee meeting at the next appropriate.
Thank you. Councilor Waterman.
The Transportation and Traffic Committee has no business this evening. We will appropriate business at the next appropriate time.
Very good. Councilor Tavares.
Thank you, President Delicio. Reporting for ordinances, elections, and legislative matters from the docket of May 20, 2025. I move to approve the recommendation of the Board of Election Commissioners and the Attleboro Police Department for the number of officers needed to staff Attleboro's polling locations for 2025 calendar year.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any comments?
As we discussed in committee, this is a routine annual request to comply with state law, and this is informational.
Additional questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, this requires a voice vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
That concludes the business of ordinances, elections, and legislative matters. We call for a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Councilor Tavares.
The Special Committee for Tax Abatement Review has no business this evening. We call for a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. Councilor Angelo.
Thank you, President Delicio. Special meeting for compensation classification has no new business, and call for meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. Councilor Foa.
Thank you. The Special Committee on Policy and Procedures has no business this evening. Call for committee meeting at next appropriate time.
Thank you very much. I would entertain a motion to adjourn. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? We adjourned at 7:35.
Wow. Crazy.
7:35.
Awesome.